Mic check.
You ever truly forgive cheating?
Hey. All right. Look good, look good.
This
Sorry
gonna be
going in
a
front of the microphone like that. But here we are.
it's gonna be a good one.
They all good, man. What you mean?
Good one.
All right. So we are live today. Welcome to Fathers Handling Business. I am your host. Dwyan Marsh is my name.
Donté Witherspoon.
It's
He almost
his
forgot
name.
his name today.
I didn't forget my name. I'm just, known by different names. So I had to remember where I was.
Got you. I got
You
you.
feel me? So what we're going to talk about today is a controversial topic because I think almost every man born in the 80s and 90s had done this thing.
Okay, let's talk on it.
And
what is that thing?
cheating.
Mm.
Can you ever truly forgive cheating? So, is cheating the end of a relationship?
Is it the end of every relationship?
Mm-hmm. Is it the end all be all of a relationship?
Well, I think that I think it depends, right? So it can be. It most definitely can be, but I think it depends on whether or not both parties involved want to remain in the relationship. And I also think that there's other factors like, do you guys have kids, and does that play a factor? And sometimes kids don't matter, like, and for one person, they don't want to be in a relationship anymore. So
okay, so should you forgive someone if they cheated on you? And make sure you're speaking to the mic so that they can hear you.
Yeah. Well, if you're asking me, yes. I mean, I think everybody's going to have a different opinion in this, but if you're asking me, yes, you should forgive someone for cheating, just like you should forgive someone who's done anything wrong to you, because we're all asked to be forgiven, right? We all like to be forgiven, so why not forgive?
That is the Christian answer, the churchy answer,
the political
that's
correct.
the politically correct answer. But I'm going to go a little bit away from that and say it depends if it's a male cheating or a woman cheating.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna keep it all the way.
Speak on that.
100,000 with you.
Speak on that. All right.
But the correct answer is, like, we should all forgive because we've all fallen short. But for a woman, I mean, when the Bible talks about divorce, it talks about, if a woman cheated, you can hand her the papers, give her them papers, get out of here, But for me, it's just different because, males are the givers and women are the receivers. So you're receiving somebody else into your body.
Yeah.
You're opening up. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And so we all know that for women, it's more of an emotional situation.
Okay.
Right? For most. Obviously,
yeah.
This is not, there's always outliers, but we're not talking about the outliers. We're talking about the overwhelming majority. It's an emotional thing, and for men, it's just not emotional. It can be, right? Not saying that it can't be emotional for men, but for men, it's more of a physical situation, and for women, it's more of an emotional. And that's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? There's lots of research on it. You can go into that on your own, but just from my experience and from everything that I've read and researched, that's kind of where I stand on that.
I think
what's your position?
I think that's a huge. I think it is a generalization when it comes to that, and most people would agree with you. However, it is a generalization, not all. Like you said, not all. But I think that more. I think that more today because of. I mean, if you think about like our society and what they view on like television or what they hear in music now.
Yeah.
Now I feel like for cheating for women is less emotional and more about just like
for people born after 2000.
Probably.
Sure. I'm talking about the last 2 decades of the last century.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure. People that I think my wife even said that's like we're like the last generation that grew up without social media.
Yeah.
You feel me? So now, you know, we got 7-year-olds that want to commit suicide, that are committing suicide because they see everything and it's
hear everything.
They hear everything. It's a little bit more, wide open in that. So I'm taking them out of it.
Okay.
Right.
So take the younger generation out of it.
They're of the Drake generation. You know what I'm saying? Where everything was all emotional and the music turned out
emotional.
Drake is very emotional. I mean, come on, let's be for real. But I'm saying his music ushered in a whole bunch of things that we didn't experience in music and in hip hop culture. I will say, right. When we grew up, it was more, hard on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was more hard on them, and in Drake culture, it's more emotional, which ushered in a bunch of emotional rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Depressed and on all these zanies and all this other kind of stuff. So I digress.
All right. Back on track.
Yeah. Back on track. So, what's worse, a woman cheating or a man that cheats?
That's a good question, and I think it kind of goes back to what you.
But you got to answer the question.
No, I will answer the question.
I need an answer.
I know.
Okay.
It kind of goes back to what you were saying, like, it's emotional for a woman and it's physical for a man.
Okay.
So, not going to your question, what's worse, a woman cheating or a man cheating? I don't want to be double standard-ish here.
Be double standard.
I can't. I'm not.
You got to be double standard.
I'm saying I don't want to be double standard.
Same. We're not the same. So we have to have different standards.
All right.
I don't be double standard. You have to be double standard. Like, I mean, just keep it G. Like, if somebody's breaking into the house, are you gonna send your woman to go take care of it?
No.
Okay, then. So it's a double standard. We're different. We're just different, and that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with being different. It's okay. But anyway, go ahead.
All right.
So there are 2 different standards.
Yes.
Just because we're different.
All right. So it's not. It's worse when a woman cheats.
Okay.
And here, let me give my explanation why.
Okay.
Going back to what you said, women are more emotional. They've thought about it way longer. They've thought about it. They've processed it. They've gone through all these different mixed emotions as to why they're going to cheat. And like, there's been text messages and feeling like all these things that go into it. Whereas if a man cheats, he's not thinking about any type of emotions, any type of nothing. He's just thinking about.
Now, there may have been some text messages.
Yeah, for sure.
There's definitely going to be some text messages or some, what they call do they call it emotional cheating? What do they call it?
Yeah,
like you have a relationship.
Yeah, emotional cheating.
Emotional, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But for like, if you view a man's text messages versus a woman's text messages, a woman is seeking like that companionship within those text messages, whereas a man is like
seeking more of the physical.
Yeah. And that's what you'll see within those text messages.
Right.
And so I say that to say, like, if you took out the physical part for a man, like, it's way less likely that he will cheat.
If you took out the physical part?
Yeah. So like, say,
you mean like if I was only like DMing somebody or something and we just kept it as that and we were just sexting, or like what do you, how do you take out the physical part?
No, I'm saying like if you took out the physical aspect of you know, a man wanting this type of like wanting to cheat, like it would be no reason to, like there is no reason for me to even carry on a conversation with this person if there's no real
if we're not gonna
chance.
get to if we're not gonna get to the physical, like
correct.
So you're saying we're starting with the end in mind,
right?
When we cheat, it's like
this is the goal.
This is the goal. Now, how do I get there?
Right.
Right. You sound like a marketer right there. You know, this is the goal that we're trying to get to.
Now, you have all these, like you have all these
pie
like
graphs and charts. Okay, I'm gonna slide in first. No, I'm gonna like the picture first.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna like 2 more, and then I'm gonna comment.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna slide in once she notices me, and then we go. So it's a whole thing to get to the emotional.
Yeah.
So when a woman cheats, she's doing what?
I don't know. I'm not a woman.
I know, but you're the counselor. Like, what have they told you? Like, what has there been any
well, it goes interaction? It goes way. It stems way before the seeking attention from anyone else. It goes, I'm not receiving this.
So they're feeling a void.
Yes, huge void.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. They're receiving. Right. They're receiving something that they're not getting.
Yeah. I don't feel loved. I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel noticed.
Okay.
What else?
So like spiritually, metaphysically,
and then they see their girlfriends.
And
then they see their girlfriends who have their relationships and they're receiving all these things that they wish
my man can't do this. Then it's the comparison. Thief of all joy. So let's get into some percentages.
Okay.
Some hard numbers.
But wait, before we get into that, because we both are explaining all this like we've been in this situation before.
Yes, but I want to talk about the hard numbers and then we'll go back to that for sure. So the percentage of marriages affected by infidelity is between 40 and 45% in America. Okay, so that's almost half. Right. We know that the divorce rate for marriages is already above half. Right. And it's been like that for a while. Like if you get married in America, it's a 50% chance that you're not going to stay married. Right. Those are just the numbers, right?
80%, right?
No, 50% that you're going to just be divorced, no matter what the reason is. Right. At least it's more than 50% actually, but it's been at least 50% for the last 30, 40 years, right? But the divorce rates for marriages with infidelity, now that's 80%.
Yeah,
right. So that's 80% of the 50% of people that don't stay married. 80% of that 50% is because of infidelity.
It's a lot.
That is a lot. So we can surmise to say that that's the main reason why people are getting divorced is because of infidelity.
Yeah.
So going back to the very first question, is cheating the end all be all of the relationship? We can confidently say that with 80%, with 80% accuracy, yes, it is.
Man.
Right. There's only 20% of people that stick it out after a infidelity situation.
And we will explain to you what that 20% looks like and what they had to go through to get to stay together in a happy marriage, not just stay together like, you know, people who are in their 60s and 70s while they stayed together.
Right.
Because that's a whole different reason why they stayed together. And not necessarily because they wanted to and they were happy.
Okay, so let's get to it then. Have you ever been cheated on?
Yes.
Now, have you ever cheated?
Yes.
Now, were you the first person to cheat or the second person or the reactor to the cheating?
Both. So one, we're talking about a girlfriend, and then another time we're talking about in marriage.
Okay, so we're strictly talking about marriage, right?
Right. So in the marriage, I was the first to cheat.
Okay.
And my spouse at the time, years later, then cheated.
Okay. So you're part of that 80%.
Absolutely.
Okay. So when when you cheated, did she forgive you? Did she say that she forgave you?
Did she say that she forgave me? Yes.
Okay. Did she act like she forgave you?
Yes, and no. Yes and no. So, and here's I'm gonna share this too, because there's a percentage based on this too. Like, so she didn't catch me cheating. I actually confessed to cheating.
Okay.
All right. And I confessed to cheating years after I had already.
Years after. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So I confessed to cheating years after doing it.
Okay.
And then I had already been working on myself after I had already cheated, decided to stop cheating. And then I confessed. Then it was just like opening a whole can of worms. And I had so many people say, like, why did you say anything? Right. Multiple people, like friends, super close family.
Yeah. So why did you say anything?
Yeah. I think it's for a number of reasons. I felt like, number one, I felt like God was telling me to.
Okay. I mean, that's really all the reason you need right there.
Right.
We can move on. I mean, like if you were convicted in your spirit that you're supposed to do it, then you got to do it. So whatever comes of that is whatever comes of that. So.
Right. So that was the main reason. There's some other reasons too, that I think back at it, but then after hearing everybody was like, why'd you do that? You shouldn't have done that. Like,
yeah,
you guys still could have been together, but it was like, we were still together for a long time after that, even after me confessing. And
what's a long time?
Shoot, I'm gonna mess my numbers up right now. Like over 5 years.
Over 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a long time,
first
of all. But so do you feel like that was the seed that started once you confessed? Do you feel like that was the seed that started the descent?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it just took 5 years for y'all to...
It was probably more than 5 years, but yes.
Got you.
I'm definitely have my timeline messed up right now, but yes.
Right. So the divorce rate for marriages where the unfaithful partner confesses is about 43%.
So I fall into that too.
You fall into that too.
Yeah.
You a statistic today, boy.
Yeah. Yep.
43%. That's kind of surprising to me. I
don't be a statistic.
Just don't cheat. I mean,
yeah, there you go.
For real. I mean, but anyway, that's surprising to me that 43%, almost half, little less than half people actually confess. So that means that they convicted. You know what I'm saying? Because when you confess it, you know what I'm saying, you feeling guilty and you convicted on the inside. Like, yo, I got to get this up out of me. So that's I guess that's kind of dope. 25% of men admit to cheating on their spouse at some point, while around 15% of women admit to the same.
And these are the only ones that are reported, right?
Yeah.
So just thinking about all the
people that weren't polled.
Yeah.
So these numbers could be,
So my question is, are men more honest than women? Like, do more men cheat?
I was about to say, I think it's more men. It's more men cheat.
I'm going to disagree with you. I am going to disagree.
I mean, so we just got through an election, right? And so you can look at some states and you see the whole state is red and one section is blue, but the state is blue, right? But that's because, and people look at that and be like, well, this is unfair because, but yeah, but nobody lives in those rural areas, right? So the same logic applies. Like, just because you see the statistic like that, I think more men, because it's more populated in that area. That's the reason. Sorry, but it's more men that cheat than women.
I also think that just women will take something to the grave way more than men will. 1,000%.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
If you're a woman in the chat,
I'm with
give
you
me
on that.
some snaps or something. If you feel like you can take something to the grave,
I'm with you on that. That if women do cheat, a lot of them won't tell. I mean,
oh yeah,
yeah, of course, I'll give you that. But I still don't feel like more women cheat than men. For the people born in the last 2 decades of the last century.
All right, I get that.
I'm gonna go with the 80s and 90s babies. You feel me? We have some real ones.
Yeah. All right. So, have you ever been cheated on, or have you ever cheated?
Have I ever been cheated on? I don't know. I mean, I've never had anybody confess to cheating on me. Have I ever cheated? Yes. But I did it on purpose because I knew the relationship was over.
Mm-hmm.
And I confess too. Yeah, I confess too. But I did it because I was like, this is, like I wasn't trying to be sneaky about it. Like I did it on purpose, and I told her that I did it.
So why don't you just end the relationship?
I did. That was you ending the relationship? That was me validating the end of our relationship. So, like we were still married and kind of semi together, but that was me saying like, no, we're not. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, I knew she wasn't gonna stay with me after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it so that there's no can we get back together? Maybe yes, no type of situation, no in between situation. So
yeah, but then why wouldn't you just say like, hey, I don't want to be with you anymore?
I did
before though. Before. Wait, so you said I don't want to be with you anymore, and I'm about to smash this chick?
I didn't say and I'm about to smash this chick. I'm just saying that I don't want to be with you. So, especially when you're in a marriage and you have kids and you're really invested with somebody, the things that they say have weight, but you are more inclined to want to stay with that person and try to work it out and come back to them another day. And you feel right. What I'm saying? Like you're more inclined to, no matter what they say, try to make it work out. So that was just me confirming like I don't want this relationship anymore. And I'm just doing things to make sure that
I'm moving
yeah, there's no delineation, I'm not on the fence about this type of situation.
Okay,
if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I justified it. Not really justified it, but that's how I thought about it. There was no justification. It's just that's how I processed it. Like, okay, I said this, and I want you to know that I mean that I said this. So I also did this in conjunction with me saying this thing. Like there was words, and then there was action.
And then was there like a, oh okay, well, all right, cool, or was it like all hell broke loose? Because was there like, oh okay, because she knew too that the relationship was going south? Or was it like a surprise to her?
It wasn't a surprise.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it wasn't a surprise at all. No. It wasn't a surprise. Like, I hate to say that it was, her actions, but it was both of our actions. We were young, so I'm not gonna only blame her. But for me, in my mind at that time, she used to always bring up divorce, right? Like maybe during an argument or stuff like that. And so for me, that really just like like that's like the ultimate no. Like, I don't care what we talking about. Like, don't bring that up. You know what I'm saying? And so she used to always do that. And so for me, in my mind, like, you know, at that time, after she brought it up so many times, I was like, cool, let's just do that then. Right. And just so you know that I'm not just pump faking like you've been pump faking on me. I'm serious now. So let's just, you feel me?
Okay. All right.
So, and like I said, I'm not saying that was the right thing to do, or, you know, I probably should have, you know, not did that or whatever. We were young. We should have gone to counseling. There's all types of things, but that's how I was thinking during that time.
That's how you dealt with it.
That's how I dealt with it. Like I said, like, you know, during arguments or whatever, constantly, I'm gonna divorce you. I'm gonna leave you. Ooh, wow. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll just go ahead and do that, so we don't gotta worry about it.
All right. Well, let's take a look at why people actually do cheat. Like, why do people cheat?
Why do people cheat? I mean, it's really the two reasons that we already said. Men do it for the physical, and women do it for the lack of the emotional. So usually it's the lack of physical for the man and lack of the emotional for the women.
Okay.
You know, I mean, a lot of men will just be like, well, she don't do this, she don't do that. And then and some women do this and do that, but some dudes are just like, well, I just want I just want spaghetti tonight instead of steak and potatoes, you know?
So with that being said, it's the inability to resist temptation.
Correct.
Or other things.
Correct.
Maybe an addiction to sex for some people, right?
For some people, yeah.
And then, you know, maybe some anger or frustration with your spouse. And that can go both sides, right?
100%.
And what you're saying for the women, it's like mostly, not all the time, but for mostly like feeling unwanted, feeling unvalued or underappreciated.
Right.
What else?
You know, like you said, feeling undervalued or underappreciated. Like, it's easy for a man to say, okay, well, she's not doing such and such at home, right? Like, she's not on her job, you know what I'm saying? She's not doing, you know, these sexual things that she used to do. You feel me? Used to be like this, but nowadays you're not, you know. And there's a number of reasons why women are not doing these things.
Right.
Because when they were young, they had more energy, they didn't have no kids, they maybe didn't have the same type of job, they didn't have the stressors. And so all that kind of stuff takes away from, you know, your sexual nature,
or
say,
or
your
for
libido,
or for some women, it's because it's so it's an emotional thing for them, right? An emotional connection. They don't feel connected emotionally with their spouse,
yeah,
because maybe they're missing something. Like maybe their spouse is missing, not physically from the home,
100%,
and mentally and emotionally from the home as well. So like,
100%.
let's take a man who works a lot and is always gone, and then the chance that they are not working, they're out with friends, or they're out like doing something else, not being present in the home, not being emotionally available. So that could be
100%. I want to be 100% clear. Like, I always put the blame on the man, no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
No matter if the woman cheats or the man cheats, I put the blame on the man.
Why?
Because we're in a marriage, and we're specifically talking about marriage right now. I'm not talking about girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. In a marriage, who's the head of the household?
It's supposed to be the man.
Okay. And so if you are submitting yourself to God.
But what do you mean by head of the household?
If you are submitting yourself to God, right?
And we're talking about a faith-based home.
I'm talking about any home, because it's all
not every home believes in God.
I know not every home believes in God, but that doesn't change the principle. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't change how the world works just because you don't believe in it. I'm just telling you how it's supposed to work, and if you follow these principles, it should work better. Right.
I think someone who doesn't believe, let's take two people who don't believe in God and they're living their lives the way, I don't know, however they see fit.
Okay.
I'm going to say that they're going to say no, like it doesn't work that way. And maybe they have some type of agreement to where like we're equal and there is no head of household.
So I'll give you an example of a friend of mine whose wife is an atheist. Okay. And so still in their household, he works, he pays all the bills. She stays at home. She takes care of all the kids. Right.
Yeah.
So she is submitting to him being able to be the provider of the house. Right. And he submits to God. Like I said, God, husband, wife, and then kids and everything else.
But wait, is he an atheist as well?
He's not an atheist.
Does he believe in God at all?
He does believe in God, but he's not like a faith. He doesn't rule everything on his faith. Like he just kind of grew up in the church, so he knew about God, that kind of thing.
And they? But you're saying,
I'm saying they don't practice any type. They don't go to church. They don't practice any type of faith, anything. But their house is still structured, like I said, like him at the top, and or him making the bulk of the
the money.
He's making all the money.
Right.
And she's taking care of the household.
Right. But how is that? But how is that seen? And I don't know them, but let's say like that's the agreement that they have, right?
Correct.
So how does that make him head of the household? Is it because he's making all the money and she's taking care of the household? Because like if you ask someone who let's say the role, I'm gonna get to that one too. I'm gonna get to that example, but I'm just saying as far as when we're making the decisions, who has a final decision maker, right? Okay.
At the end of the day, like we're going to talk about it. And like I said, you submit to God and then the woman submits to the man. And then the man, right, treats the woman as he would treat himself.
Yes.
Right. So in actuality, he's really being a servant of her and still submitting to her as she's submitting to him and as he's submitting to God. So all that to say, my main point was that it all still falls on the man, right? And when I say that, when it comes to cheating, is what you said, is that she's missing something, right? And so there's a void there. He's supposed to be filling that void with whatever it is, whether it's she needs a little bit more attention, she needs somebody to talk to, he needs to give her flowers, he needs to be romantic, maybe he's not providing, right?
Okay.
Maybe he's not giving her the security that she yearns innately, right? Where not that he's got to be a big guy that's gonna beat up everybody, but it's just simple things. You know what I'm saying? Making sure she ain't got to go to the gas station at night by herself. You know what I'm saying? Just like simple things like that provide security for her, right? And so if he's not doing these things, and I'm telling you this because I've tested this theory myself, right? Okay. So if he is not emotional about these type of things or intentional about these type of things, then that can lead to her, going to the arms of another man.
Well, all right. So I'm playing devil's advocate right now.
Yeah,
because I hear what you're saying, and I see how you're bringing everything back full circle. However, I still disagree with that. It all falls on the man, even especially if she decides to cheat, because cheating is a choice.
Cheating is a choice. Cheating is a choice.
Yeah.
Yes, but there are influences that make you make different choices.
1,000%. Yeah.
And, as the man, you know what I'm saying? You have a lot of, and as we all make the choices.
That's what I'm saying.
We all make the choices, but as a man, you know what your woman needs. Right. And you should know, even if you give her the opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Like there shouldn't even be no opportunity for that.
Okay, so when I say I'm playing devil's advocate, I'm about to break down a scenario for you.
Go ahead.
So let's say there's a man who does all those things that you just said, right?
Okay.
And it seems as though he's doing everything from A to Z. Everything. I mean, chivalry, everything.
Okay.
Working hard, providing.
Okay.
Sex life is great. However, there's still something missing. he has no clue.
Okay.
He had like good man.
Yeah.
Always, like present, emotionally,
Uh-huh.
physically,
Okay.
like.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. But a spiritual leader of a household,
Yeah,
I'm talking
ahead.
about the whole full gamut.
Okay.
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 But she's missing like that. She wants the bad boy. She wants the, you know, for whatever reason, she's missing that, like talk dirty to me or like smack me around. Not physically smack me, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
she wants that.
Mm-hmm.
How is he supposed to know that?
You say he's a spiritual leader?
Yes.
The spirit gonna tell him. But questions are always the answer. Questions are always the answer. Like if he's doing all that, but he hasn't asked, what am I not doing?
And it's not even that. He's intuitive. He's always asking like how, like he's always asking like, how can I love you? How can I love you better? It's like, no, you're doing great. Like you're doing everything. Everything that. But she's lying. You can't like. And if she's still, if
you don't know that, and you don't know that,
bro, if
you don't know that,
man.
I mean, women are good liars, man. But
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
They are good liars, but like I said, man, you can't hide from the spirit, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Can't hide from the spirit.
That's what I'm saying. I'm playing devil's advocate in this situation.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that cheating fully falls on the man. It is a choice. Is it a choice? Whether you're a man or a woman, if you are the one that decides to cheat, it's on you. It's never on the person that got cheated on. It's not.
I just don't agree with that. Just because I just don't agree with that, because I feel like it all falls back on the man, and that's just how I feel. And that's how I've seen things play out in my life with other dudes I know. Like you can always, and I'm talking about everything falls back on you, right? Everything that you experience in life falls back on you ultimately, right? And so whether that's some type of disease, right? Like that ultimately falls back on you, and where you are in your life, like that ultimately falls back on you, and how you are in the mind. And so obviously I'm not talking about little kids, but I'm talking about once you grow up and be an adult, where you are in your life is based off of your decisions, right? And so ultimately, and that goes across the board for everything. And so when we're specifically talking about marriage, and we're talking about the man being the spiritual leader of his household, then it ultimately falls back on him. That's why.
I hear what he's saying. Okay. Now I'm gonna talk to y'all real quick. So because I hear what he's saying.
Okay.
And I said I was going to play devil's advocate because I know that there's a lot of people out there that are going to agree with what I said, that the responsibility falls on the person who cheated. But what he is saying, that it solely falls on the man.
If you really look back at the decisions that you made leading up to the cheating situation, leading up to your disease, leading up to your heart attack, leading up to your stroke, leading up to where your finances, if you look back and look at the choices that you made, you will see the road to how you got to where you got. Just reverse engineer it. It's not that hard.
I hear what he's saying. He's saying this, and I'm going to put it in
suicide is always signs.
Plain black and white. Back to Adam and Eve. Okay. Eve took the apple and ate it. Okay. And then she gave the apple to Adam.
No questions.
Where was Adam during that time?
He asked no questions.
Where was Adam when she took the apple and ate it?
He was probably out hunter gathering.
No, he was right there. He was literally right there. He was right.
He was right there.
He was right there. He was right there.
I don't remember that part of the story.
Yes. So serpent was talking to Eve.
So
that's why I'm saying I get what you're saying.
Okay, so if he was right there, then that just proves my point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said. Yeah, that's why I say I was playing devil's advocate, because I hear what he's saying.
Okay, gotcha.
I hear what he's saying. Gotcha. It does fall on Adam, because he literally saw everything happen and still decided to eat the apple. And now we all suffer for it.
Right. All right. So cheating is a choice. True. But in my opinion, it ultimately falls on the man in a marriage. Right. So can couples ever recover from infidelity and have a happy relationship if they are willing to put in the work? What's the work?
That's the good question.
I need to know what the work is.
And I'll tell you, this is why my actual marriage didn't work. The work requires a process of rebuilding the trust.
Okay.
Right. Resolving conflict.
Okay.
And strengthening the love and affection and the communication. So, and when I say rebuilding the trust and resolving the conflict and restoring and strengthening the communication and the love and the affection and the respect and all that stuff, it literally means both parties, not just the person that cheated and or not just the person that got cheated on, but both.
Correct.
Right. And so 60 to 75% of couples who experience infidelity remain together if they do these things. Okay. And it has to be both. Like it has to be. It has to be.
Yeah, I was just like you said, like why are you staying? Is the question. You know, why are you staying? And I think the reasons are important, right? And that's why I said, you know, this goes back to my point that it falls on the man, because the reasons are like everything. You know what I'm saying? Is it kids? You know what I'm saying? Is it because of financial issues? Is it because they're lonely? Is it because I don't want to go anywhere else? You know what I'm saying? Like
religious
reasons. Like, why are you staying? But also, why did you go? You know what I'm saying? What was the infidelity? Like I said, like if it was just a man and he had a temptation and he couldn't resist it, you know, type of thing, you know, then that brings up like the trust issues and you know, like you gotta be able to stand up as a dude, you know, and not give in to temptation. So it's a lot of reasons, but the work seems very hard.
Yeah, it is. It's insurmountable. You have to have the willingness.
Insurmountable?
That's
a tough word. Insurmountable?
You have to have the willingness to sit in the uncomfortableness. And it's going to be uncomfortable. The conversations that like I'm talking about everyday conversations, because in the beginning they're gonna want to know the how and the when and the why and the how many and the position, like just everything, right? Like stuff that they don't really need to know because it's not helpful.
Right.
But they're gonna ask anyway. Right. So sit in that uncomfortableness, right? And then the willingness to like literally work, both of you guys work, not like on yourselves, right? So person who got cheated on, you're gonna have to work through your feelings and emotions and recovering and healing. And then the person that cheated is gonna have to figure out the why they cheated, and then repairing the trust, repairing the love, repairing like all these things. There's an analogy that I use in counseling a lot, right? When trust is broken. So let's say there's let's say this is a mirror behind us, right?
Okay.
And so and you have a stone or a rock. Let's say we throw a stone or a rock at the mirror. What happens?
It breaks.
It breaks, right?
Okay.
Depending on the size of the stone or rock, will determine how much, damage caused to the mirror.
Okay.
Well, that stone or rock, it resembles mistrust.
Okay.
Okay. Can you repair a mirror that has been broken? Can you repair it?
No.
Why not?
Because it's shattered.
Okay.
You can never find all the missing pieces.
Well, I mean, it didn't disappear.
It didn't disappear, but some glass shards are a little bit too small to paste back together or to stick back together.
It'll be very difficult, right?
Very difficult.
But not impossible.
No, it's not impossible.
Right. Sorry. So let's say we have a rock, we throw it, it cracks, and then we have another rock,
That
another
actually breaks it.
another form of mistrust, throw it, and then we have pieces all over the floor, right?
Okay.
Is that impossible to repair?
If pieces are all over the floor, it's not impossible.
Not impossible.
But I like insurmountable. That seems pretty insurmountable.
Right. So it's going to be extremely difficult to find all the pieces, like you said,
find all the
and
pieces,
then put them back where they go. Right. And so let's say, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
But it's gonna require both people on their hands and knees,
right,
humbling themselves. So like when we talk about humility, like when it comes to infidelity, both parties are humiliated, right?
Facts.
And they are humbled by the situation that occurred. And if you want to repair that broken mirror, then you have to get on your hands and knees and pick up all the pieces and find them and place them where they go, like a puzzle piece. And you can't do it alone, because you're going to run into impatience and all these different things.
Yeah.
You're going to want to quit. But, and I'm talking from a biblical standpoint and in a spiritual standpoint, if you want that marriage to work, and when I say get in your hands and knees, I'm talking literally and figuratively in a sense of prayer and seeking God in that sense, because that's what it's going to take in order for that marriage to be restored. Right. So now let's say a couple is willing to put in the work and fight and go to counseling and get mentors, older mentors who have gone through this and have said, you know what, we want our marriage to work, and we're willing to fight and claw and scratch so that they can have a happy marriage again, right? Okay. So they can put all the pieces back together. Okay. So let's say they did that and they found all the pieces and they got some Gorilla Glue, because we all know that Gorilla Glue is the right glue, right?
That's debatable.
And they put the mirror back together. Okay. All the pieces are in the right spot.
Okay.
And they all fit, and the mirror is back. When you look at that mirror, what will you see?
You will see broken glass that's put together.
Right. You're still going to see an imperfect mirror. Correct. Right. There's and those are scars. Those are battle wounds. Those are wounds that happen.
I still got scars from skateboard accidents at 10.
Yeah. So those are wounds that happen within the relationship. Okay. So I'm going to tell you right now, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship and or marriage. There isn't. And that mirror is a representation of that. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage. Okay. So there's going to be stones or rocks that are thrown at the mirror, at the marriage, that represents the relationship. Okay. Can it be restored? Yes. We just talked about that. Now, you're going to have this mirror that has all these cracks that have been glued back together. And sometimes the marriage can be restored to where the mirror is even stronger, because we've gone through this, right? We've gone through this. We've got the Gorilla Glue. We did all the work.
I was about to say, what are the characteristics that make it stronger?
Yeah. So the work that you put in.
Okay. Work.
The work, and I'm gonna, and some people will say, well, like, he's biased because he's a Christian. Like, okay, whatever. But I feel that God will at the center of that relationship, that marriage is key. I feel like it's going to be key to having a stronger relationship. So communication, God is a center, but communication, working on yourself, working together.
Okay.
And then what am I missing?
I don't know. You the therapist. You tell me. I think one of the main things is community.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Like you kind of glanced over this a little bit, but you said talking to older couples that have been through it.
Yeah.
right? Like that's huge.
Mentors, yes, absolutely.
Having mentors is huge. Having somebody that has gone through it and is still there, you know what I'm saying, and actually having communication with them and you know, talking through some of the issues that, like, if you have kids, like, you know that your kids are not doing anything that you haven't done.
Right. Oh,
right.
100%.
Like you look at your kids and you be like, dog, I was doing that.
Yeah.
Like you're not slick.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I remember doing that, or I remember when I was your age, I was doing XYZ. So you already know that if you can see yourself in your kids, then older people can see themselves in you. Right? Like older couples.
They've
right?
been through what we've been through.
Specifically of your same culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's always helpful. It doesn't have to be of your same culture, but culture matters. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you know, you kind of know what each other's struggles are on a personal level.
Right.
But man, just having that,
it's huge.
It's huge. You know, me and my wife did some counseling, and we had a older couple, I think in their 60s or something. And, you know, they had some very helpful things to say, you know, and they were, even when we did a little bit even deeper, like when they were our age, they were in this same city that we're in. Like we just came to find that out. It's like, yeah, we used to live over there, and, you know, be careful going down this road. And like, they knew exactly what we were talking about, you know, so that was incredible. And so, you know, just having those sessions with them is like, okay, seeing an older couple, they kind of mirror us a little bit. He's kind of silly, like I'm silly. She's kind of a little bit more, you know, analytical. So it was
there's a connection.
There's a connection right there. You know what I'm saying? And so just having that and being able to have that community around you, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right. 1000%. 1000%.
Yeah. So, let's talk about, if you find out if your spouse has been cheating on you, what are some things that people can do once they find out that their spouse is cheating?
Take the time to think about it. Like, okay, like, where did this come from? Did I see it coming? You know, what happened here? Process it a little bit. I would say give each other space. You know, don't go into it like, I don't know. I would just say give each other space. I think that was one of the mistakes I made too. I didn't give her space. I found out when I found out she was cheating, like God told me, and I didn't listen to the spirit. God told me, don't approach it yet. And I did it anyways. And it backfired.
Disobedience.
Yep.
But like I said, the spirit gonna tell you.
Yep.
You don't know.
I would say seek support from. So this is a huge one. All right. So you just talked about having older mentors, and I think that's huge because we all have friends too. Right. And ideally we're gonna want to seek support from our friends, or, you know, real, true, close friends.
Don't do it.
You don't want to.
Please don't do it.
Do not seek support from friends who are going through the same thing, or have been through the same thing,
or have not gone through this.
It's tough.
Right.
It's tough. So you got to really be selective. Really be selective.
Yeah. Like your friends should hear the testimony. They shouldn't hear the through it.
Yeah.
Because those aren't going to be the people that are. Now, everybody got different type of friends, obviously, but you like don't consort your single friends. That you know what I'm saying? Because your single friends are going to be the ones that's like, oh, girl, you know what I'm saying? Or the homies are like, well, don't worry about her. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So you use discernment. You're a grown adult. You know what people that you should and shouldn't be talking to about this, but you know, being emotional about it. I think what you said is take some time to think about what happened. And, you know, don't get me wrong, even though ultimately it falls on the male in the relationship, the female in the relationship still has made decisions, right? And could have said something here, or instead of internalize that, she could have just came out and just said what the issue was. You know what I'm saying? Like we know that's a whole different topic for another day, but you know, just retrace the steps and reverse engineer how it got to this point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And take accountability for your actions and your part in that, even though we're not saying that the victim or the person who got cheated on is the one to blame, right? Like, because you still made that decision, right?
1,000%.
So I'm with you on that. But the decisions that came before it, right, ultimately, like I said, it falls on the man. But like I said, you made decisions, whoever you are, you made decisions, that got you all the way to naked. Like, you just can't just pop up naked.
Bottom line is, we need to stay connected
with another human.
We need to stay connected with our spouse. We need to stay connected.
100%. 100%.
And aside from seeking a mentor, seek counseling too.
100%.
Seek counseling. I know in our culture it's taboo, especially for the older generation. But I feel like now this new generation is more apt to seeking counsel.
I mean, our generation, I think the generation before us,
generation
like our parents'
us.
generation, it wasn't a thing, or it wasn't as accessible or affordable, right? And so for our generation, like in their 40s and 30s, we're definitely on that a little bit more and understand the value that it can bring. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, Jesus heals, and yes, you need Jesus, but you also, like, he made counselors,
he made therapists,
therapists,
absolutely.
And like that like he gave people those gifts and those discernments, and a person who seeks wise counsel, you in the game,
right?
So that's actually a Bible verse, but I didn't remember the rest of the Bible verse. I thought she was gonna finish it for me. You didn't. But seek wise counsel. So having a therapist or somebody who can, help you through these issues, somebody such as yourself, what I'm saying, that can help, marriages do their thug thizzle, is what it's gonna take. That's part of the work. And like I always say, man, you're going to make time for what you want to make time for. You are going to show up for what you want to show up for. There's no such thing as I don't have time for that. There's no such thing as, oops, I just slipped up and found myself naked with this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a bunch of decisions that you had to make. You had to get dressed. You had to get in your car. You had to have the messages. There's 1,000 decisions that had to be made before you showed up naked with somebody else.
It was a choice.
And so, if you can choose to make all of those decisions, then you can choose 1,000 decisions to, make it work for your family, if that's what you choose to do. If that's what you want to do. Yeah.
Preach.
So, can you ever truly forgive cheating? That's the question. What's the answer? Let me know in the comments. What's your answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with yes as well.
All right.
But we're not God, so I don't think we'll ever forget. But you can't forgive.
you can forgive. You can forgive.
All right, that's our episode for today. We appreciate y'all tapping in with us and checking us out. Donté, where can they find you at if they are looking for some counseling? Because you do remote counseling.
Remote counseling. If you're in the state of California, go to witherspooncounseling.com and set up an appointment.
Word up. We'll check y'all next time. This is Father's Handling Business.
Peace.
Gotta do it that way. The other way means something else.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Which way?
If you do it
this way.
If you do it this way,
it
means actually doing English.
In England?
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
In the whole other part of the world, that means.
Are you serious?
Yeah.